Hi, hello everybody. Well, here we are for PST again. Today we are going to work on areas of the body that prevent this seated position from being possible for you from a comfortable standpoint anyway. And we're going to come back and we're going to retest this position a few times today. So we're going to look to see what areas of the body prevent this particular position. Is it the hamstrings? Is it the inner thighs? Is it maybe the hip flexor area as far as not feeling too crampy or too grippy? Is it the low back? So we're going to see what this area feels like for you, or this position feels like for you, and to see if we can help you figure out what are the areas that prevent it from being comfortable for you. Okay, so let's have you start by taking a seat, coming into this position. Take the legs open as wide as you can go comfortably, and then you want to sit super tall with your weight even on both sit bones. And for some of you, if you're pretty tight here, this might be a hard position to be in, even just tall, all right? And I want you to remember that this is what your experience is, just sitting tall. You might feel like you're kind of rounding out like this, and maybe you are, but again, just remember what you are feeling like, okay? And then otherwise, let's see if you're able to pitch forward, hinge at the hips to come forward here, like that. Now, what we're looking for though with this is an actual hip hinge, so that you're not rounding out the back like this. All right, you're hinging, the chest is staying lifted and the spine is staying long, okay? So that's the hip hinge portion of it. And then just take a moment, whether you're upright here or whether you're hinged forward, close the eyes and take a moment just to scan the body, scan the landscape here, and see if you can identify areas that are restricting you or preventing you from going down any further. What areas of your body do you feel that may be impeding that? Is it the hamstrings? Is it the inner thigh line? Is it the low back? Is it the crease of the hip flexors? So put that into your memory bank so we can come back and retest it again and again. And then go ahead and press yourself upright and bring those legs closed. And we're going to start this off with the hamstrings. All right, so coming onto your knees, making sure to cushion your support knee so you're completely comfortable there. Let's go ahead, let's do the left one first. Let's do your left hamstring first. So bring your left leg forward. Let your chest come down and rest on top of this left knee. If it can't quite reach there, you can always grab a book or a pillow or a cushion like that and put it between your chest and your knee, coming all the way down. And then you're going to either walk your front foot forward, enough to elicit a stretch sensation here, or you can also press your hips back, and you might have to walk your back knee back as well with that, okay? And you can do a combination of those two as well. Whatever it takes to find your sensation in the hamstring on this front leg, and let it be a nourishing sensation, not one that you feel is going to make you grimace or hold your breath. Can you relax? Because that is the key, is to relax. You cannot force yourself to become flexible. And taking a stretch too deep too soon will only set off your sympathetic nervous system, your fight, flight, freeze. And when you come out of the stretch, the muscle will just go right back to that original length. So you want to be really easy, very kind, very gentle. And let your body experience something that feels good. Okay, so we have two contractions to do with this hamstring today. One is to press the front foot down, so go ahead and do that. Press down and feel the heel pressing down, but don't move the body at all. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then an easy release. The leg is relaxed. And now we want to attempt to pull the front foot back as if you want to bend the knee, but nothing moves in the body. Go ahead and do that and hold that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then a nice easy release. Let the leg relax and breathe. Now, If you can even drop your head. I'm not doing that right now just because I don't want to have the microphone get so loud. So I'm going to keep my head lifted, but if you're able to drop your head, drop the head and let the whole torso just go slack on top of this leg. Okay, let's repeat the contraction. Pressing down and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and letting it slowly go. Pull the foot back without actually moving and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and letting it slowly go. Breathe. And explore. Do a little side to side if you like. You can rub it out with the fingertips if there's an area that feels like it needs some extra attention. And having your foot cross the midline of your body like that, that can also change it, especially if you bring more weight to the end of your foot. That can also change probably more to the outer hamstring, your bicep femoris for you if you want to go there as well. Okay, full breath and a nice audible sigh. Coming out, we don't want you to drag your foot back. So you can either pick your back knee up and walk it in, or you can turn away from the front leg and walk that foot in. Okay? And then shake this one on out. You can also stand up and walk it out. And maybe bring the heel to the bum a few times. Okay, I'm going to turn this around and we're going to go to the right hamstring now. Okay, so again, make sure your left knee is comfortable. Bring the right foot forward. Walk it forward a bit. Settle your chest down on top of the knee. And then from here, keep walking it forward, or hips go back, or a combination of the two, until you can find where you want to camp out for a while. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 not being very tolerable, we like stretch sensations to hover right around 3, 4, 5-ish, because less is really quite a bit more when it comes to our stretches here. We don't adhere to the mantra of no pain, no gain, because that is so wrong and quite a disservice. So it's more like no pain, all gain. Keep everything gentle and nourishing. Explore around. Where are your tight spots? Okay, let's contract. Press the front foot down, particularly the heel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then a slow release. And then we're going to pull the front foot back, or attempt to pull back. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then letting that slowly dissolve. Sensation in the groin area or the hip area on that back leg. And that's totally fine if it feels comfortable for you and it doesn't distract you from the experience of the hamstring on the front leg. We just call that a twofer. if you happen to be getting a stretch back there as well. Across the midline of the body if you want to, bringing weight to the instep a bit more. You can also prop your toes up on the wall or books or cushions like that. I don't recommend propping it up without having something to support the foot on though. Okay? You want this leg to be as relaxed as possible. Contractions, here we go. Pressing down, hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let it go. And then pull back as if you want to bend your knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then there's that slow release. Good. Breathe in. Letting it go. And then mindfully coming out, either by walking your back knee forward or turning away from the front leg and walking it in. Okay? Either walk it on out or just stay down and do this. Okay. Let's come into a retest. Take your seat. And here we go. Take the legs opened. Try to find your original position. You might be able to come open a little bit further at this point too, who knows. Sitting up nice and tall. I have a piece of thread or something itching my nose. I can't seem to find it. Come up nice and tall. If you're able to, start to pitch forward again without rounding out. And just see if that hamstring stretch brought you any more movement. It did for me. Okay, so if it brought you some movement, then you'll know your hamstrings are a bit of an issue for you for this. So this is a good one to keep up on. Okay, go ahead and come on up. Now let's work on the adductors directly, inner thigh muscles. You have short adductors, 3 sets of those, and you have a long adductor muscle called the gracilis, and we're going to get to all of them. Let's start this off though with a little fascia work. So you will need a foam roller or your dowel or a rolling pin or something to roll out the inner thigh line. Here you can also use a ball if you want to. So if you use that, you can just stay seated and rub along here or rub like that if you want. Okay, I'm going to show you, or I'm going to do the foam roller version though. So the foam roller version, the roller goes like this. If you don't have a roller, I highly recommend getting one. We posted a link to this in another video, I think on the usual suspects. I think we posted a link to the foam roller, I think, or maybe it was the mat video, I don't remember. Anyway, so if you have the roller, you'd put the roller underneath the inner thigh, and from the knee all the way to the groin, you're just going to roll it out from the knee to the groin. Otherwise, use your rolling pin or your dowel or your ball. You just kind of want to soften up this tissue here, soften up the whole fascial system around the adductors. And you want to notice, do you tend to be more tender toward the groin or in the center or more toward the knee? Okay, go ahead and finish that off. Come on up, and we'll switch it to the other side. So I'll use the dowel on this side, just so that you can see it being done in both ways. Okay, so use the foam roller if you want, or grab the dowel. The thing about the dowel is you really have to keep yourself honest on it and to put enough pressure down, because fascial work typically is not real comfortable. You don't want to go to extreme pain by any means, but it is going to feel a bit tender and intense. So just having it be like a light massage is not going to really do it. You're going to have to get in there a little bit here. And then notice if this side feels any different. Is it in a different location than the other leg? We're just tenderizing. We want to enable the muscle fibers to glide with one another versus being stuck to one another. And when that fascial system gets tight around the muscular system, then those fibers don't glide very well. They get kind of sticky. And then the muscle itself becomes quite inefficient. And then the joints can become compromised as well. So ooh, holy mama, there's a spot. Yeah. So Jean, this is for you again. Diana, right? You had an epiphany about this. Oh, relax the leg as best you can. Try not to tense it up. If you can't relax it, then come off of it a little bit. Lighten up a bit. Okay, go ahead and finish that off. All right, let that go. Shake that out. Okay, so let's do a retest. Take those legs open. Let's just see if the fascial work made a difference for you at all. Okay, find your position, coming up tall, and then seeing if there's any movement to pitch forward. Check the landscape here. I am further on this one now, so even doing some fascial work has certainly helped me. Okay, remember where you're at. Press on up and close on up. Okay, so now let's work on a stretch for the short adductors from the groin to about the middle of the femur and then a little higher up as well. So we're going to give you two options here on this one today. One is called the squashed frog. The squashed frog brings you on your hands and your knees with your knees opened wide like that. And you can also come down onto the elbows. Okay, so from behind, you're looking like that. And the feet can be together or apart. It'll change what you feel. Okay, the important thing about the squashed frog position from the side view is we want to keep the hips in line with the knees. We don't want to have the hips come forward. We also don't want to have them come back like that. They need to be in line with the knees, and then allow the knees just to slide apart to what's comfortable for you. Okay, if you're on a sticky mat, you might have to kind of walk the knees out a little further versus sliding them out. Okay, when you're done with this, to come out of it, you lean to one side and lift a knee up to bring it in. Okay, so that's the squashed frog position. The other position is called the tailor pose. And on this one, we take a seat. It's nice if you can to sit up against a wall even, just so you can be really quite honest with your spine, because on this position, we want the spine to be tall and not rounded forward again. So if you're tight in the hips, you might need to sit up on a cushion or a rolled up blanket or books or something like that to allow you to achieve this kind of a spine versus that. Okay, So do what you need for that one. But the tailor pose brings the soles of the feet together, back up against a wall if that works for you. And then bring the feet as close to your bum as you can, with the spine tall, and the knees are pressing open. Now, if you're super flexible here and you need to go a little bit more, the squashed frog might be a better option for you, or you can start to hinge forward at the hips like that, okay, without rounding out again. You can also take a cushion like this, put it between your feet. That'll also increase the sensation, or you can put it under the feet, and that'll increase the sensation as well too. So you have a few options there. Okay, so to contract, if you're doing the squashed frog, try to press your knees together. So press the inside of the knees into the floor as if you want to pull them together. If you're in the seated position, take your hands to the inside of the knees here and attempt to lift the knees up, but resist with the hands. At the same time, press the soles of your feet together. So you're lifting your knees and pressing your feet together, but there's no movement in the body. And then let it all go. Just relax for a moment here. Again, this should not be painful. So get creative with your position if something's not feeling comfortable for you. At this point, I do like to start to explore around a little bit. It's amazing what you can feel. I can even feel some stretch happening in my QL on the back side if I shift. Okay, contract again. So squash froggers, press the knees inward. Seated tailor folk people, press your knees up into your hands and press the soles of the feet together without moving. Feel the change in sensation there. And then slowly let the contraction dissolve. We don't want to drop the contraction, just let it slowly dissolve away. And breathe. Now what's interesting in this position here is if you squeeze your bum, try squeezing your bum and then see if you can press those knees open a little bit more. That's called reciprocal inhibition. You relax one muscle and the opposing can, you contract one muscle, the opposing muscle can relax a bit more and lengthen a bit more. Beautiful. Any gains there? And let's press ourselves on back. Bring the hands to the outside of your knees to lift the knees up. Squashed froggers, lean to one side and walk that knee inward. Then we're going to straighten the legs out and turn them inward like that. Okay? So that was the short adductors. Let's go to the gracilis now, which is a long adductor from the groin coming down, crossing over that kneecap. Okay? Two versions of this one I'll show you today. One requires a full wall. Okay, and this is a lying down version, which is kind of nice for relaxation, although I tend to favor a lot the other version for myself because I like having body weight added to it, and I'll show you that in a moment. For the lying down version, you're going to want to bring your hips, your side of your hip up against the wall, and then swivel onto your back as you bring the legs up the wall, and you want to make sure that your bum is up against the wall. That's the key, is to scooch enough to bring the bum up against the wall, and then the legs slowly come out to the side like that, okay? And you want to be able to relax the legs completely. If you can't quite relax them, if it's pretty tight, you can grab some cushions and place them here as support on the outer thigh, okay? So this is one version here. When you are doing your contraction, you take the hands to the inside of the thighs here. Attempt to bring the legs closed. And I'll cue you on that in just a second. When you come out, we take the hands to the outside of the legs, bring one leg inward, then the other leg inward. Don't use your inner thighs to do that. Use the hands and arms to do that. And then we'll have you turn inward, okay? And then to come out, you roll off to the side and press on up. Okay, so that's the lying down version. The kneeling version, we're going to kneel again, and so you're going to want to cushion your support leg, and you're going to bring one leg out to the side, okay? Just like that, and you want to have the leg go straight, and that's the same thing for the lying down version too. Make sure the knee is straight, all right? That's because that gracilis again is crossing over that kneecap, so we need to have that leg straight. And then on this one, you can lean forward a bit if you want, or sit back if you want. You can come down onto the elbows. So because we're going to do 2 contractions on this leg and then 2 on this leg, if you're doing the lying down version, you don't need to be doing 4 contractions totally. Just 2 or 3 contractions is fine. So just maybe hold the stretch phase a little bit longer. Okay. So if you're contracting doing this version here, go ahead and take your instep of your foot, press it down into the floor, and attempt to drag inward to the midline. If you're doing the lying down version, go ahead and place your hands on the inner part of both knees, attempt to close up. And you want to feel a change in sensation along this inner thigh line, and then slowly let it relax. And then breathe and explore. When you explore and you move slow. Think glacial. You want to give your brain and body a chance to sync up with one another. Okay, contract again, pressing down. Hold, hold, hold. And then slowly let that contraction dissipate. So the quadricep has to be contracted though to keep that knee straight. So do keep that quad contracted. And now I'd like you to take your hand, take your thumb and your fingers and rub it along the inner thigh line. You're going to feel this ropey area, which is our target area. And then hook your fingers and thumbs on either side of that rope. And then just start to dig it out. Go up and down the whole length of the leg. And you're thinking about trying to, again, loosen up this whole fascial system, separating the inner thigh here, the gracilis, from the inner hamstring and from the inner quadricep. Good. Okay, so if you're on your back, you can stay there a little bit longer if you like, or come out and just skip ahead to the next portion. Otherwise, come up and walk that foot inward. Don't drag it in, walk it in, and then bring that leg all the way in. Okay? All right, so let's go to the other side now. Stretch out the other leg. Keeping it straight. Explore. I also find if I take my torso toward that outstretched leg, that can give me an increase in sensation too. Coming down toward the floor. Okay, let's contract. Press the instep into the floor, attempt to drag it inward, feeling the change in sensation, and then slowly letting it go. Check the quad, check the knee. Okay, contract again. Press down, hold, and feel. You want to invite your brain along on this journey. And then a slow release from there. And we're going to breathe. And we're going to be nice and we're going to be kind to our bodies. Dig it out. Get the fingers and thumb in there. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to walk that foot in. Remember, if you're lying on your back, your hands come to the outside of the knees to close the legs up one at a time. Okay. Let's shake it out. I still got that thread somewhere on my nose. Shake it out. Turn inward for a moment. And let's do it. Let's come into our straddle position. Up tall. And hinge and just see. How did you do on this one? Are you any further? I'm not really that much further on this one. I got a bigger bang for my time with the hamstring stretch and also with the fascial work of the adductors, but the stretch itself kind of kept me where I was at just a bit ago the last time we checked. So for me, I know that my biggest bang is more from hamstring and stretching and also fascial work. What's it like for you? Okay, so let's press on it. Come on in. So now let's look to see what else can impede this area, and we're going to do the psoas hip flexor stretch, and we're going to do a quad stretch as well, just because some people get pinching and gripping in through here in the hip flexor area. So let's start this off with a really kind of a quick side-lying quad stretch. If you have a favorite version of quad that you'd rather do that you learned in the PST classes, go ahead and do those. Otherwise, we're going to come down onto our side just for a quick side-lying one. This is not one of my absolute favorites for, for my stretches for my quads on a regular basis, but it'll do in a pinch if I'm just trying to get through it kind of quicker. So we're going to take one knee up, top knee comes up, draw it up like this. Your hand comes to the top of the foot, and then use the arm to draw the leg back. Don't use the leg itself. You might cramp your hamstrings. All right, and then come back just so that the knee is in line as best you can with the hip versus being too far forward, okay? If you're super, super tight, you might come forward a bit, and that's okay. But if you're able to come back, do come back a bit. We also don't want to arch into the back like that, so make sure to tuck the tail under just slightly. If this is too aggressive on your knee, then grab a belt or a strap and put it around your ankle so you can actually open up the angle of that knee a little bit more. All right. And then also to keep the knee down at hip height so we're not up like that. There we go. Just a quick one. And then let's just bring in the contraction right away now. Go ahead and attempt to straighten your knee out. You're going to feel like you're pushing the top of your foot into your hand. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let it go. And then attempt to drag the knee forward like that, but don't let it move because you're going to resist it with the hand. Hold, 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 and then letting it slowly go. And then we're going to tuck at the tail. So this is not really, it's not a bad version by any means. I wouldn't be showing it to you if it was. It's just that for my body, I prefer other versions. But like I said, just for something kind of quick, this works just fine. There we go. That's all we need to do for that one today. Slowly straighten that leg out. Okay, and here we go on the other side. I think we all have versions of different stretches that we prefer in our bodies. And okay, draw the knee up first, hook the hand, slowly bring it back. And something that that Jeffrey and I strive to do is to make sure that we don't just show things that we prefer for our own bodies. Very often we're showing versions of stretches that we don't really care for our bodies, but we know that they work for other people's bodies. And isn't that the beauty, that we're all connected yet different, and we can embrace those differences as well as our similarities? Okay, so adjust the leg if you need to make sure that it's in a proper position, that we're not up. Relax your head as best you can. I'm just turning my head away from the microphone a little bit. Tuck the tail as much as you need. If this causes any kind of knee pain or discomfort, come out of it. Maybe grab that strap to increase the angle of the knee. Okay, let's contract it. Attempt to press into the hand as if you want to straighten your knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Letting it slowly go. Attempt to drag the knee forward and hold, hold, hold. Slowly let that dissipate. I think also too, there is a structural limitation on how far we can tuck the tail. So this particular stretch, this version will only get you so far. If you're pretty flexible in the quads, you might not get much out of it. We don't want to pull the knee back like that either, so you might get more bang from different versions. Okay, here we go. Slowly come on out. Shake it out. And press on up. Okay, so that was quadriceps, just kind of a quick quad. Now let's go into your psoas, okay, which is another leading cause of having gritchiness in the hip flexor area. Okay, so coming onto the left knee, right foot will come forward, and take both hands to the inside of that right leg, and then relax the back foot down. And slowly let the hips come forward. And again, move at a nice slow pace here. The further you walk your front foot forward, the deeper sensation you're going to feel. So if it's too much, walk the front foot back a bit. If your hamstrings are still barking at you on the front leg as well, come up a little taller. Bring your hands up on a cushion or a pillow. And explore, shift left and right here. Where do you want to camp out? Make sure the hips are square, though, that you're not going to rotate that back hip open. And then let's contract. Press that back knee into the floor. Hold, hold, hold. And a slow, slow dissolving. Attempt to drag that back knee forward as if you want to bend at the hip. But again, the body's not moving. Hold. And then a slow relaxation. The belly is soft and we're breathing. Where can you relax even 10% more? Is your back foot relaxed? We want to avoid having it curled like that if we can. That just gives the body the signal of wanting to push out of it. If your foot tends to cramp, then just roll up a towel and let your foot rest on top of the towel. Okay, contract again, pressing down, hold. That back knee's pressing down. Can you feel the change now? And then slowly let it go. And then drag that back knee forward and hold. And then slowly let it dissipate. Okay, full breath. Letting it go. And then use your arms and your front leg to press on back. Again, you can stand up and walk that out and pull that knee up a couple times, or stay down and do this. Okay, let's go to the other side. Coming on to the right knee. Left foot comes forward and the hips are back. Notice my hips are back right now, so I'm not coming into the stretch right away. I want to slowly invite my hips to move into the stretch. Easy, easy, easy. You're welcome to bolster your arms up a bit if you want to, grabbing some pillows or bolsters or cushions. So you can come onto your elbows if you like. If you're flexible enough, you can come onto the elbows down here if you wanted to. And explore. Okay, contract. Here we go. Press the knee down. Slowly let that contraction dissolve. Attempt to drag that back knee forward. And then slowly letting it dissolve. Okay, contract again, press down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slowly release. Drag the knee forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly release. And when you're done, go ahead and press on back. I always say when you're ready, because let your body kind of guide you on that when you want to come out. If you feel like you want to hang there longer, by all means, hang there longer. Just put the video on pause or rewind it back up again. Okay, so there was some hip flexor work with the quadriceps and the psoas. Let's just see if that made you a bit more comfortable. Come back into the position again. We're getting quite familiar with this. Up tall and hinge, or do whatever you need to do. Good. Any difference for you on that one? Okay, press on up. Okay, so now we're going to need the ball. Trigger point ball, tennis ball, or a lacrosse ball. And we're just going to do a really quick run along the upper hip area. Okay, so find the upper portion of your pelvis and then just drop down slightly onto the tissue there. And we're going to roll from the sacrum out to the hip area just to release that low back. Okay, but it's the upper glutes that we're actually releasing, but it helps with the low back as well. Okay, sort of come on up to the, or come on down onto your back, lift your hips up and take the ball under and start to roll from the sacrum out to the hip. And you're going to be on the fleshy part though. Okay, but just toward the top of the pelvis. You know, don't worry about trying to get it exactly right. You're going to get some benefit out of it no matter what. So this can also help prevent the pelvis from tipping forward in that stretch, straddle stretch position. What I like to do when the ball is out toward the hip is I like to drop my knee out to the side. And if this is pretty tender and intense, just lighten up a little bit. You'll know that you're doing okay if you're able to breathe into a soft belly. But if you find that you're holding your breath, or you're grimacing a lot, or you're breathing shallow, or you're all chest breathing, those are all signs that you might want to lighten up a little bit until you can get the breath to reside into a soft belly. Good. Okay, just a little bit. Go ahead and come on off. Let it settle in for a moment and just feel the difference now between that side and your other side. How does it feel? Does it feel flush to the ground more? Does it feel softer? And then let's visit the other side now and just see what the experience is over here. I don't know about you, but my body sometimes feels like Sybil. Remember Sybil? Having different personalities and different, it's like it belongs to two different people sometimes. Again, use your breath. It's a very powerful, powerful guide. And even occasionally invite that vibrational of a sigh, which does a world of good for the vagus nerve, which then does a world of good for the parasympathetic nervous system, which just brings you into your rest and digest mode. Okay, go ahead and bring it off that. And just lay there without the ball for a second or two, for a breath or two. And then let's go ahead and roll over. Come on up. Got a lot of testing of this today, don't we? Okay, up tall. Here we go. Hinging forward. Did that buy you any extra room? Okay, come on up, close up, and we got one more to go for this particular piece here, and that's just to target the low back directly. I'll face this way. So take a seat with the knees bent, and then from here we're going to do a trapeze grip like this, holding onto your forearm under the legs. Draw the chest as close to your knees as you can. And then at this point, we want to keep the chest attached to the knees as we start to walk the feet a little further out. So if you get too far out and you can't keep the chest attached anymore, walk the feet closer in, or grab a cushion or something, or roll up a blanket to put between your chest and your legs, okay? And then you're going to fold the head inward like this. I'm going to keep mine up just for the sake of the microphone so I don't blast you out too much. But I'd like you to fold your head inward and just keep walking the feet out with the chest staying attached. Now you might find your hamstrings might be a limitation in this position, and that's okay. Just stop where you need to stop. And breathe. If you're finding the hamstrings are just too much, press your heels down for about 5 counts again and give them a contraction and see if that'll help you or not. And now, let's take your chest and lengthen it up the line of your legs. You're going to lift your head and draw the shoulder blades down to your back pockets. We're taking the spine into a little extension, and hold. And then breathe in. And as you breathe out, folding back over again. Drop the head down as well. And then bring your hands to the floor on either side of your legs and use your arms to press back upright. Bring the feet in a bit. And then do a trapeze grip again, but this time on the wrist under the legs. And then roll back. Let the head come down, let the chin come down as well. And then just start to move a little bit from side to side, stretching across that mid-back. And then use the arms to come forward. Beautiful. Okay, so now let's take the hands back behind you. This is not dealing with the adductors anymore. We're just going to finish with a couple easy seated stretches to do. So now we want to take the hands back behind, and I'd like you to walk them back so that the arms are straight, but far enough that you can still lift the chest up like that into a little extension of the spine. We're not going to drop like that and have the shoulders come forward. We want the shoulders to roll open. Let the chest lift to the sky with the arms straight. Now, if you want to take this a little bit deeper, you would just simply slide your hips down towards your feet, but make sure that you don't go so far that you drop the chest down and the shoulders roll inward. You want to keep that chest lifted, shoulders drawn open, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You might feel this in the mid-back. You might feel this in the biceps. You might feel it in the shoulders. It's a great stretch for all of those areas. Good. Now attempt to pull the hands towards your bum, but they don't move. And attempt to roll the shoulders forward, but they don't move. And then let it all go. Keep the chest up. Breathe in. As you exhale, can you bring the shoulder blades together more? Can you scoot your bum down towards your feet more without collapsing into your chest? can play with your head here as well too. All right, now go ahead and do collapse down. Come forward, slide those hands in. Woo! And then let's do a little seated rotation now. So we're going to keep the knees bent. Come up tall. Oop. I keep touching the microphone. I hope I'm not giving you a lot of static there. I want you to rotate the chest and torso toward the left knee. Take your right arm and just bring it to the outside of that left knee. Your left arm is an outrigger behind you, and roll the shoulder open. So it's not forward. Roll it open. It kind of becomes your kickstand here. Take a breath. As you exhale, use the arms to create the rotation. Breathe. Take the head with you if you want a little extra rotation through the cervical spine, through your neck. To contract, draw the navel to your spine. Attempt to unwind your torso to the right, like you want to come out of it, but you're not going to actually move. So feel the muscles around the ribs, the obliques, and around the lower torso. And then slowly let it relax. Breathe in as we sit tall. We want to keep that sternum lifted. Exhale. Good. Big breath. And then we're going to slowly release and unwind. And give it a little bit of a twist to the right. Okay? And then we'll go to the other side. So again, we're up tall. Rotate the torso to the right side. Left arm comes to the outside. Right hand back behind you, and again, roll that shoulder open. Lift that chest up. Breathe in. Exhale. Rotate over. Contracting, draw the navel in, attempt to unwind the ribs to your left, resisting it with the arms, and slowly release. Breathe in as we sit tall. Is there any more room to rotate? And breathe. And unwind with a little rotation to the left. Beautiful. Okay, go ahead and stay seated. And you can sit however you feel comfortable now. Let's reach your left arm up to the sky, and then really reach up and try to touch the sky and elongate this left side body as you side bend over to the right. And you're going to anchor yourself down with that right hand so that left hip stays on the floor. And then just explore this. Rotate slightly open, rotate slightly closed. And then roll all the way forward and stack on up. The right arm reaches up. Lift up to the sky first. Avoid the temptation just to side bend right away. Really reach up to elongate that right side body And then come up and over, anchoring with that left hand into the floor. And then explore. Not trying too hard, you're just finding your edge, feather up to it. And then roll forward, come on up. I will say that I do like being in this straddle position, you know, when I've been here for a while, and then start to explore here as well. You know, what do I have going on here? I might even add in a little bit of this side stuff, much slower than what I'm showing you, but I do like to kind of hang there and explore around, so I invite you to do that a little bit as well. Okay, when we're done with this video, which is almost done. All right, let's work a little bit on the neck and shoulders, and then that'll be it. Okay, so come to a position that's comfortable for you to sit in. Let the arms just rest down by your side. Breathe in, and then a nice long breath out. Let the shoulders relax and drop away from the ears. I want you to notice how you feel here. Do you feel 100% relaxed in the shoulders? How close are your hands to the floor? How much of your hands are on the floor? What kind of a bend do you have to your elbows? And then with the eyes closed, consciously bring the shoulders up slowly to the ears and feel how that tension starts to build in the shoulders and the neck, and feel that this is tension. And I'd like you to repeat to yourself, either out loud or in your mind, this is what tension feels like. I want you to acknowledge that this is tension in the body. Breathe in, and then as you breathe out, can you slowly soften? Just let them soften down, not pulling them down, just let them soften down. And then tell yourself that this is what relaxation feels like in the body. And again, bring them up slowly and feel the tension build. This is a really nice somatic exercise here. Feel the tension and tell yourself, this is tension. Breathe. And then exhale, soften. And telling yourself, oh, see, this is relaxation in my body. One more time. Coming up. Shrug, feel. This is tension. On your next exhale, sigh it out. Soften them down, let them melt. And tell yourself this is relaxation. And then check your arms now. Check the elbows, check the hands. Are they further onto the floor now? Mine certainly are. This is relaxation. Very often we walk around with what we feel is relaxation in our shoulders, but we're actually about 10% contracted. But our brain has learned that to be normal. And so by you bringing in this little exercise of consciously bringing in tension into the body by bringing your ears up, that's a conscious act using that prefrontal cortex. And then you exhale, let it relax down. The brain then has a contrast of what's actually tension and what's actually relaxation. So we get to use that prefrontal cortex to override what that lower brain has learned as normal, which is not normal to be up here, if that makes sense. So let yourself stay here just for a moment. If you're not quite comfortable here seated, you could lie on your back, but give yourself about a minute here to integrate all the work that you've done today, feeling into the body, the beauty of the body, this body that carries you around every day and does so much of what you ask for it to do. And how lovely that you spend this time returning the gift, returning the love to this hard-working body. this vessel that houses you. And feeling into your breath. Grateful. Grateful. I invite you to stay in this place of stillness as long as it suits you. And thank you so much for joining me today on the world of the straddle stretch. And we will catch you next time. Bye. Love to all.